I'm Madeline Blair, and this is Unlocked. If you're that person who sets goals that challenge you to fully reach your potential, this show is for you, because this is a show all about opening possibilities so that when you're hit with the unexpected, you have options from which to choose. Thank you for joining me today, and I hope you enjoy this episode of Unlocked. And if you do, make a comment on social media about what you learned and might do differently as a result. And if you're on YouTube, click the like button, or better yet, subscribe. If you want to know more about the show, previous ones, what's coming up, go to madelineblair.com/unlockedtv. And if you would like to explore what it means to build and nurture your resilience with me, send me an email to madeline@madelineblair.com. Be sure to get on my mailing list as well, and I'll keep you informed about my new group mentoring program, Unlocking Together. Our topic today, starting over, is going to begin with a journey, but first, Dr. Ed Hoffman and I will continue our exploration of vision, something many of us think of at the start of a new year. So let's join him in the exploration, which is already in progress. I remember when my grandmother used to talk about her trip to America and how she was down in what was called steerage on the boat. And she always referred to it as a boat, not a ship. And apparently she was, I think, 16 at the time. And she didn't get seasick. So she ended up having to feed the babies their bottles. Okay. And whenever a baby didn't finish the milk in the bottle, she would drink it because she thought that was the only food she was going to get. Now I said, well, why did you do this? And she would always say, I did it because I wanted a better life for myself and for my family. And I mean, that was just one little story that she would tell me. Then there'd be other stories about how she had to leave her mother at 16 because that was the opportunity and it would never come again. So it was clearly a monumental decision on her part. And yet she did it and she got through it. So that's what I want to talk about today, or just explore today with you. What are some of those monumental things where you just disrupt your life completely?
Yeah, I think nowadays that's the nature of the world. I think you hit it, really a real key thing. What's the challenge of today? That's different than I think any other time in history. Is I think we're all going to new worlds. We're all travelers. We all don't know how to respond to new ways of doing things. And so resilience is so important nowadays. People talk about it, they focus on it, because we recognize that we're going through stress. We're going through a world of constant flux. And some people call it, VUCA, volatile, and it's uncertain. And how do we deal with it? And I think this is the question that's different between us than any other generation. Is this constant the ability of how do we figure it out?
You're right, because in her case, it was difficult, no question. And it probably took her months to make the initial adjustment. But we're in this constantly. It's certainly young people are in this even more so because they're at the edge all the time and changing themselves.
Yeah. And I say we have I would say we have a disadvantage. And the disadvantage is we've learned 20th century tools for a 21st century environment. And I think we spoke about this before a number of times, but we learned a set of ways to be successful. And those worked in a good, stable time, in a slower time, in a more linear time. But many of those tools don't work today. And so there's a new set of tools. And how do we learn them? How do we pick them up? How do we get comfortable with them? And I think that's I think the additional thing. You know, your story tells wonderfully about a woman going to. She knew she was going to be going different, so
Yeah.
she had to think about it. I think a lot of times we don't think anything. Oh, it's still the same life. Nothing. We still use the same tools. I listen to managers. They're managing the way someone would have managed in the 50s and 60s.
Yeah.
And it doesn't work. So how do you get over that? We have to. There's a wonderful book, I think by Gillian Tett, about thinking like an anthropologist, and that we have to get used to just seeing where we are in new sense of new ideas, new ways, new sense of empathy for what's going on around us.
And at the same time, it doesn't negate the fact that when you have to totally disrupt your life, and you know, recently, certainly in the last decade or so, there's been more migration in Europe and from Africa and from Eastern Europe than in many years. So there are still the major disruptions, but those major disruptions now sit within a constant disruption.
Yeah. And so they need to constantly embrace the strange.
Embrace the strange.
Maybe that's why we get along so well.
Say more about that, Ed.
No, I mean, we like each other. We do things, I think, a little differently than maybe the normal path. That I think works, that's energizing, that's exploratory, that's reaching out to others, that's using stories. And you don't have that many, at least for me, I haven't seen that many people in my life that look at things that way. And so from the standpoint of a 1960s world, our approaches and tools are strange.
We're also curious.
Right. That's a nicer word.
Yeah. Oh my! I always enjoy my conversations with Dr. Ed. All right. Well, now I want to introduce my guest, Najat Rizk. Am I pronouncing it right, Najat?
Absolutely.
Oh, fantastic! Well, let me introduce you to my audience with a little bit more background, because they need to know that you're going to bring them some really amazing stuff. Najat Rizk has over 25 years in the media industry, producing corporate films, documentaries, talk shows, factual entertainment, and drama. And her commitment is to create a difference in the Middle East through media production. Najat has launched and managed the top 2 television stations in the Middle East, and she's the founder and CEO of Triarch, a stock footage licensing platform representing videos from the Middle East. Recent founder and CEO of Alazema. She has also received many awards. I'm just blown away with these. In 2010 and 2011, she received the Woman of Excellence Award at Harvard Business School. In 2019, she received the Woman of Excellence Award of the World Economic Forum. And in 2019, the Award of Recognition given by the Lebanese Media Foundation. And beyond these awards, she has a remarkable story of resilience to share. It is an honor to again welcome you, Najat, to Unlocked.
Thank you, Madeleine, for hosting me. And it is truly a pleasure and an honor as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Well, you know, I've told them all about your professional life, but there's that huge story in the middle of it, Najat, which I would love for you to share. But you can begin with where you are today, with what you do, but we need that journey in between.
Yes. Well, today I am based in GCC in Riyadh, between Dubai and Riyadh. And I moved to the GCC completely because I always worked in the GCC countries. I mean, between UAE, Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Bahrain, and Saudi Arabia. for as long as I can remember in my career. But this is the first time where I actually move out of Lebanon, okay, and make UAE as a base, and then Riyadh because of the work that and the different projects that I have right now with several ministries and the private sector as well in Saudi Arabia. So I'm living between two countries. This is where I am today. What I do is I'm a media advisor and a consultant for several projects. My career spanned across so many different areas in the media world, from broadcast to production to TV and TV launching, TV broadcast, and at the same time digital media. So basically, I spanned across all these different spectrums, and I worked a lot in the cultural sector and in the education sector as well. So basically, right now, this is the culmination of my 30 plus years in the industry, where I'm trying to give back and at the same time learn, all the different methods, the whatever, because the media is an eternal evolving world. So
Yes.
I'm learning every day, and I'm giving the best of my experience across the Middle East. And definitely, because I've worked with European broadcasters, European companies, and American companies. So I'm always between the two worlds, Europe, America, actually three words: Europe, America, and the Middle East.
Oh, fantastic, fantastic. I often describe myself as a bridge person because I work between the technology and
Yeah.
the human side of life. But but you are also including all those different cultures that you have to deal with, as well as the technology.
Absolutely, absolutely. Which I really enjoy because I am a people's person. So I love to go to, and this is how I started actually. When you start in production and in the TV industry, you need to be a people's person. You cannot just lock the door,
No,
right?
no.
And this is where the curiosity to learn from different cultures, even though it's in Arab culture, but still we have all our uniqueness in so many different ways. So to be able to adapt, to learn, and to live among different people, you need to be that type of personality that you love
Yes.
people
Yeah.
and you have a high sense of empathy.
Yeah.
Okay, because it's all about give and take.
That's right. Well, you also have, in the midst of all this amazing work, a story of change where you had to leave your home. And I told the story of my grandmother. Fortunately, I didn't have to have that monumental kind of change. I had other monumental changes, but not that one. But I think it would be wonderful for our audience to hear a little bit about that particular story.
Well, I don't know how the stories of Lebanon, if they have reached every corner in the States, but Lebanon has been witnessing ever since 2019 a massive economic collapse. It's like a complete meltdown of every single public institution function that we know of a government, and because of this economic collapse, and because of the revolution, because we had in 2019, in October 2019, a wonderful revolution that has started to actually get rid of all the corruption that we have among our political sphere, because it is deeply rooted, the corruption that we have among our politicians. So it resulted in, first, the revolution did not continue for many reasons, and the economic collapse. We are still, after 3 years, in the free fall, and we haven't hit rock bottom. The result of that is, for all entrepreneurs, okay, like me, it was very difficult to actually witness our livelihood, our businesses, our savings, our lives collapse. as well as our, the whole country.
Mm,
So we couldn't, not only we lost the money that we have saved across the years, we lost the ability to function in our own companies. So any business related, type of how do you say, activities was hindered drastically by the system, by the revolution, and by the economic collapse. By the revolution, because the politicians countered the revolution in a way by provoking this massive collapse, okay, which we saw it, maybe the effect of it is still up until today, ripple effect of what happened. And it resulted in the entrepreneurs of Lebanon moving, for those who had the opportunity to move outside Lebanon, to relocate
mm,
outside Lebanon. And this is where I was maybe the first one to move out of Lebanon before COVID period. And this is where I moved to Dubai, and I spent a couple of months, more than a couple of months, the whole COVID month, in locked up in one apartment that was not mine. It was given to me by a sister and a friend, who is her generosity has given me the space to actually recollect
yeah,
myself,
yeah.
and at the same time to rebuild my professional life and my life, and to be able to help all the people that I need to help, that cannot actually move out of Lebanon. So this is where you drop down. It's like free fall.
Mm,
You drop down. You need to rethink how to rebuild your inner circle first, because you need to accept what happened to you that was not within your control.
mm,
Okay, so someone has hit me. I'm back on the floor. I need to recollect myself. I have nothing, and I need to rebuild my life.
mm,
So from that moment, this is where your character comes into play. And it's not only about your personal traits. Yes, I'm courageous. Yes, I pioneered. Yes, I am a go-getter. Yes, 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 all of that. But what it's how you actually react to a major hit. And it's you get blown away and hit the hardest, mountain ever. You can be shattered into million pieces, and then you collect these pieces. This is where you know what you're really made of, like really made of.
Oh gosh, the image that came to my mind as you said that was just so amazing. I could just see these little confettis falling, and but you came and obviously you swept them up together and you said, there's something here, and you kept on going.
Absolutely.
Now, and I love the fact that you said you had family and friends who gave you support that you needed. That's so important when we get hit with things like that, to have that.
Absolutely.
Uh,
Yes.
Tell me a bit about this, and I love the word character as well, because so much of our ability to respond comes from within us. Uh, how did that come about in you?
Well, I'm known to be resilient, okay, and I'm known to be a pioneer in everything that I have done in my life. I was always the first, the first, the first, the first, the first in documentary, the first woman as managing and launching two big TV stations in the Arab world at a very very young age. So I'm always someone who likes to go and do something. So I'm a doer, right?
Yeah.
But I come to a place where I started resenting the word resilience, because we Lebanese, we tend to to brag about being resilient, and I think the whole world, okay, and is looking at us, and it's like, yeah, you can do it again. But actually we don't want to do it again. We don't want to keep on receiving all these major hits, having to reconstruct our lives. Okay, I lived through the war. and I've, I built my professional world in a way that I would like to shape my life. Yes, but it takes a lot in order to do it. So at my age, to be able to do this all over again, it's not resilience. It's either you go down or you go up. And this is not the word resilience. It's about courage. It's about grit. It's about willingness to live and to reshape your life the way you would like it to be, no matter what happened to you, even if you don't control what's happening to you. So these, I think these elements, and this is why I called my company now Alazema, which is the combination of all of this. It's about being persistent, it's about being courageous, it's about having the grit, it's about having the determination to actually make it happen again. And this is where it I had two choices: either be the victim and play the victim, or no, I refuse to play the victim, even though I am a victim of everything that is happening in Lebanon, like other 4 million
Yeah.
people. I'm not the only one. So my story it can be replicated on so many different people. But at the same time, the other solution was to actually, hey, this is where I am today. Shall I keep myself locked in one room and bang my head against the wall? I lost everything. Oh, I'm so sad. Yes, I am sad. Extremely sad. I was sad. Not anymore. This is giving all the politicians in Lebanon control over my life. And I will never do that again. No one will control my life except me. So the sense of control first is this is where the biggest wake up call. It's like I'm in control. I'm in charge again. No matter what. I will start with $1. I will start again. And it doesn't matter. I have this, and no one is going to take what I have, in my head, my ability to, and my whole, professional history speaks by itself. So will I do it again? Yes. Am I going to do it exactly the same as when I founded my first company back in 1989? Sorry, 99? No, because I'm different. I will not do the same. But what will I do that will give me pleasure? That will, I've set goals and I said to myself, okay, this is where I need to rebuild my career in a way that will give me pleasure. Because if you don't love what you do, you're not going to succeed in all cases. We all know that. So mix everything together with an amount of love and curiosity and the sense of, yes, I want to learn again, and I'm willing to learn again. And my ego is not the, as we say in French, démesuré. It's not outside it's a normal place. And this is where you lean, and then you jump forward.
Oh, I'm really delighted to hear this from you, because it is true that when you have lived through difficult times, it does go almost beyond resilience. You are drawing very deeply, and I love the word courage. I remember when I was raising my daughter, I would put her in situations where it was safe, but she didn't know they were perfectly safe.
Yeah.
And she had to work her way through it, which it turns out she's an incredibly courageous young woman.
Yeah. Yeah.
But because courage is so important. You have to be willing to say, okay, I'm going to be uncomfortable for a while. It's going to be risky, but I still have what's here. I love that. Yeah.
Absolutely. And stepping out of my comfort zone was a big challenge to myself. A really big challenge, because, I'm in my mid 50s, so I have worked all my life. I have built, a very nice life that I am really comfortable in it. And then and you build your support system. You have your friends, you have your work, you have your family, and here, I have the most loveliest family in the world. I have a pool of unconditional love that allowed me to be where I am today and every single step of the way. So this counts a lot, okay, when you have this pool of
Mhm.
unconditional love from your closest family. But at the same time, courage and determination comes hand in hand, because courage alone, it can take you far, but maybe it can take you in the wrong places.
Mhm.
So with experience and with wisdom, you choose, okay, where to focus. You choose which path to go through. You become much more aware, okay, of
Yeah.
what's happening and what the direction that you would like to take. And definitely, stepping out of the comfort zone is always good, always good, because
Mhm.
you discover things about yourself, okay, and we can always discover things about ourselves, and you push yourself at the same time,
Mhm.
and once you push yourself, you can reach a different place that maybe it will give you happiness, and if it doesn't give you happiness, it will give you something, okay.
Yes.
I don't
Well,
know what exactly.
I'm curious, what drew you to media, the media arena? How did you choose that? Because clearly this is something you really enjoy, because you talked about
Oh,
your
a lot.
goals, etc. What drew you there?
Well, I wanted to become a journalist during the war in Lebanon. Okay, and I live in the heart of Beirut in Ashrafiyeh. So basically, in order to go to the university, and I wanted to go to the Lebanese university because they had the best journalism faculty. But I couldn't because of all the different, the war divided Beirut in so many different areas, and I couldn't cross to the Lebanese university from where I lived in Ashrafiyeh. So my parents said, just choose. We have only one university in Ashrafi, which is a French university, and I come from a French private school. Okay, so I went to the French university, and I studied history and geography, and then by chance, I worked part-time job with my masters. Okay, while doing my masters in a small French TV station in Lebanon during the war. And this is where I just got hooked. It's like there is no return, right?
Yeah.
And this is where I learned the trade, and then I studied it. Okay, but I studied the management of broadcast, the management of production, and this is where I climbed the ladder.
Uh, how fortunate that you just ended up in a place that really did turn you on, so to speak. Yeah.
Yes, yes, I'm fortunate in that way, of course.
Uh, what do you? Oh no, no. Let me ask this question. When I prepare for these shows, I always ask some teenagers, "What would you ask this person if you sat in my chair?" And I always love their questions, so I make sure they get into the show. And what they asked was, out of all that you've produced, what can you tell us about your favorite production?
Oh, I do have. I love political programming, and this is the first recognition for me was when I produced political documentaries, and working on political documentaries, it gives me a sense of contribution in an impactful way, in a positive way, while presenting, what's happening on the ground, and at the same time giving what I know best is to do a very thorough research on a subject matter, because what we tend to watch on TV, and that used to be the case in the Arab world back 30 years ago, is you watch a reportage. It's not a documentary. Documentary gives you a completely different set of information that is based on thorough research.
Yeah.
And this is what I love. I love researching. I love telling stories. And I love actually putting the stories together in a way that makes sense to the modern viewer. And I love politics at the same time. So combining all of this together. So I've done a lot of political documentaries in English, in French, in Arabic, in Italian. So I work in four languages.
Wow.
And I was the first to co-produce political documentaries between Lebanon, the Middle East, French TV stations, American TV stations, and British TVs as well.
Wow. I'm beginning to see this is not a single production. This is just a whole series of things, but they're bringing all these factors together.
Yes. So what I enjoy is political, production, but this is not the only thing that I do. Okay, because after when you start a company, you have liabilities, you have your the overheads. You need to actually, and then you grow. There's opportunities. I'm a go-getter, so I open this door, I open that door, and then from one door to another, I ended up by producing cooking shows, magazines, drama series. It's just like you name it, right? But what speaks to my heart is cultural documentaries and historical documentaries, and at the same time, political programming. This is what really speaks to my heart. And from that, I went with working with governmental institutions in the Middle East and abroad. So this is where I can see that what I produce has a great impact, and it's so satisfying to see
Yes.
it, to
Yes.
witness it. Yeah, and the process of filmmaking is amazing.
Oh gosh. I as you're talking, I'm thinking how there's a real advantage for you that you can share what you have done, your product. A lot
Yes.
of the work that I do is very private and proprietary, and so I can't talk about it. What a joy to be able to say, see, this is what I did. Yeah.
Yes, true, and it gives a lot of pleasure, and definitely production, as we all know, and the whole world knows that production there's a pain and a gain process in the production, because there is no smooth production. And from that, I moved to executive producing, and from executive producing, I moved to, right now, I consult on setting up platforms and TV stations and all of that, and even production companies. So this is the pleasure of contributing to this arena is always very highly satisfying.
Ah. Uh, what is a typical challenge though in the work that you do?
Right now, as
Yeah.
as an advisor and as a consultant, well, right now there is a major shift in the media world. Okay, and combining and being agile and being at the same time knowledgeable about all the different technologies, but bringing in your experience, because it's still, classic with digital. So basically, there are two words that are marrying one another, and for sometimes now. So how do you disseminate the same message, the same production across all platforms?
Uh-huh.
Okay, this is something that I enjoy actually consult on and work on. But at the same time, what I moved on to, and this is the new challenge in my life, is how do you transfer knowledge to all these young generation? And this is the
Mhm.
education part. And this is where I'm focusing right now, because this is a newly discovered passion, combining media and education.
Mhm.
And the challenge is to set up something that the 16-year-old would actually, be interested in learning, and the 25 years old would want to attend these courses, and the 40 who is already a professional but would like to, go into digital media and update themselves on what's happening as well. So I'm involved in these type of projects whereby combining both worlds, and it is ever evolving, right? And I need to learn, not only give my experience, but I need to learn in order to make sure that we are addressing the right market here. And it's challenging because it's keeping me awake at night, but at the same time I'm enjoying. So all is good.
I love the fact that you mentioned the 16-year-old, because I personally feel a kind of personal need to somehow help these young people, because the
Yeah.
world has so much to offer them, and it must be scary to be in the middle of one of the major changes in your life is that period of teenage years, and to help them. You just hold their hand, if nothing else, to say you're going to make it. You're going to make it. So I love the fact that you acknowledge that they have to have a spark too and be given attention. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think youth everywhere, and specifically in the Middle East, they don't have a lot of offering catered for them. They can, the education in so many ways is still very classic.
Mhm.
But at the same time, what they are looking for something that speaks to them. They want to learn, but they want to learn fast and furious. They don't want to spend hours like us. So you need to speak to them in a language that they understand,
Mhm.
giving them the best tools for to direct them in a way that they will be happy and find their own voices. But at the same time, the beauty of the media and the production and the whole world of media is you have a lot of offering, but at the same time it's not always the right offering. So this is where I think that I created a space right now where I'm happy that I'm giving something and I'm creating something
Yeah.
that is challenging me to actually give the best way of I can in terms of content, and to cater for one product but for several viewers. You see what
Oh,
I mean? So this is
yes.
this
Yes.
is the beauty of it.
Beautiful. Well, I can't believe that so much time has gone by, but
Yeah.
but you have shared so much. It's been so rich. I have lots of notes here for myself. Uh, Let me ask one last question. Let's uh, let's take the 25-year-old that you mentioned. They're starting out. They have a degree, probably. They're really thinking about, okay, where am I going to go? Uh, you've said many things, but right now, how would you advise this person to prepare themselves to say, okay, if I just will do these things or think this way, whatever it is, what would you give? What would you say to them?
Well, I would speak to my old self, like it's like me being 25. Okay. My first recommendation is to go out there and explore. Never say no to anything. Okay.
Yeah.
Just explore, because when you're 30 or close to 30, this is where you know what you want. In your
Mm.
20s, out of university, you just go work in something that you love, work in something that you maybe might love, might not appreciate. It's okay. Just do it.
Yeah.
Put yourself into action.
Mm.
Don't let fear control you. Okay, because we are hindered by our own fears. Okay. And just go out there and explore. Do it. And when you approach 30, you know where you want to end up. You know your path. You would have actually focused on what type of person you would like to be. So I think this is the beauty of being 25. You can explore.
Wonderful. Excellent advice. Explore and never
Yeah,
say no. Yeah.
yeah. Because when you're 30, you can start saying no.
Yeah.
Because you know yourself better. It's like, I'm not doing this. I prefer to focus my energy on that particular job or offering.
Mhm. I also like the idea of not saying no, which means that you begin to have experiences of what it feels like to work at something maybe you don't like, or for someone you don't feel comfortable with. And those are experiences you need to move forward and
Absolutely.
progress. Yeah.
Absolutely. Because if you do it at a later stage, you become too set in your own ways.
Mm-hmm.
But when you do it at an early stage, okay, this is where you actually know and determine what you don't want to do.
Yeah.
So you start focusing on what you really want to do in order to be happy.
Fantastic. Najat, I have just enjoyed our conversation so much. And
Thank you.
sometimes when I reach out and I invite someone to be a guest, it's a risk, right? But this one, high payoff.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I really enjoyed being
Thank
with
you,
you.
Najat. And you've shared so many gems, I think, with our audience. So again, I appreciate it, your time and your wonderful energy.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And well, have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
And the same for the listeners and the viewers.
Very good. Thank you, Najat.
Okay. Ciao. Bye-bye.
Ah, gosh. I think this has just been a wonderful experience. You live in a world that you think is the world, and then you discover there's a whole nother world. And what I loved about Najat was that she really helped me see it much more clearly at a deeper level, a more intimate level. So, we all face challenges from, the minor to the life-changing. And I hope today you found some new insights to help you during these changing times. Some of the things I heard from Najat are how courage is so important. And I loved that advice. When you're 25, just go and do it. Say yes and don't say no. Just keep getting those experiences until you get a real sense of what it is that you want to do, and never feel the victim. I love that. Never feel the victim. Wow. Well, I'm going to thank you so much for joining me on this segment of Unlocked. It's always an adventure. It's always an adventure to me, and I hope it is to you as well, to listen to and experience the wonderful guests who have joined me. I'm Madeline Blair, wishing you infinite possibilities as you unlock your resilience.